Right when you think the Arizona Diamondbacks were about to lose their first game and keep the Yankees undefeated, Gino does what Gino does, which pretty much at this point is just hit home runs. We have more on the Diamondbacks' huge comeback victory in the 8th inning over the Yankees. And of course, a little rumor here about Ketel Marte possibly signing a new extension with this team. All of this right here, right now in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX DBacks podcast from Studio K, right here at PHNX HQ, presented by our friends at Circle K. My name is Derek Montilla, your mayor of PHNX. Maybe arguably a ball knower, not a ball knower. It depends on what side of the fence you fall on. But welcome in to the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, presented by Bet365 and Game Time. Go download the Bet365 app today and use code PHNX365. Go to get yourself some money if you make your first bet from $5. Sign up over at Game Time to get $20 off your first purchase using that code of PHNX. Welcome in. Love to see you guys here. Love to see Gino doing the thing again. What a night. The Diamondbacks win in another 8th inning comeback by a score of 7-5. They improved to 3-2 on the season and give the New York Yankees their first L. I love you guys. It's great to see you guys in here. Groundhog Mama just coming in super hot with the super chat. Says, what a great day for baseball. Woke up to Jesse's new podcast. That's some amazing news. We get more Jesse in our lives. Elizabeth got to see the D-backs win in person. She didn't curse them. Oh my God, she was there. What is happening? Gino hits a grand slam post-game show. Yes, welcome in. Love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I'm also here with a few of my friends. Got, of course, Large Intimate Kevin Thomas on the ones and twos. Kevin, thrilling victory, my friend.
Incredibly electrifying victory.
It was electrifying. You know what was more electrifying, though? Getting to scream in our intern Rome's face. Our intern Rome is a Yankees fan. He's here tonight. He is a liar and a fraud. Do not believe anything this man says. And let me tell you, it felt good to have one Yankee fan in this office for what occurred here. This was a good night to have a Yankee fan here.
If I'm the proverbial rage room for you, then
he says he's the rage room for me. So really, the Diamondbacks had another instance where some terrible defense and a bad outing by one of their reliable starting pitchers didn't go their way. It looked like things weren't going their way, and another 8th inning rally somehow powered them to victory. Eugenio Suárez saving the day with his grand slam home run there in the 8th inning. In fact, like I said earlier, all Gino does is mash. All 5 of Gino's hits this season have been dingers. All 5 of them, but none as important as this one that occurred here. What's wild about Suárez is he has a .278 batting average and a 1.492 OPS, which is just crazy, all things considered. But Gino, of course, is the guy doing it for this team right now. Might not be hitting consistently, but when he does get a hold of the ball, he can drive it pretty far. He had another one come pretty close to a home run there. But that grand slam home run has to be our Sanderson Ford deep drive of the game. You know, there's no other home run. We did have one other dinger from one Corbin Carroll. But outside of that, outside of the 8th inning, outside of Corbin Carroll's 2-run home run, the offense was pretty atrocious in this game. In fact, they were able to get some walks there against Yankees pitching. They honestly, tip of the cap to Yankees starter Will Warren is his name. I'm terrible at names, you know that, especially guys I've barely had a chance to get to know. But my God, he looked strong early. He had himself a pitch that kind of impressed the world a little bit, a frisbee slider that he threw with an incredible amount of vertical break. But The Diamondbacks hung in there. He struggled with his command a little bit, so they were able to get some runners on base, but they weren't able to do much aside from that. There was a 2-run home run by Corbin Carroll with Geraldo Perdomo on base. That gave the D-backs an early lead, but that was pretty much it. Their bats went cold for pretty much the rest of the game. They had one hit, and that one hit was Corbin Carroll's dinger up until the 8th inning, and that is when everything started to go their way. And I don't know, maybe we need to be calling ourselves the Crazy Eights or something like that, because things happen in the 8th inning. Randall Grichuk comes in, he pinch hits for Alek Thomas. He gets a leadoff double and then scores on a Perdomo single. Corbin reaches on the fielder's choice, and then Ketel walks and Pavin walks, loading the bases. Now, I thought the big moment, maybe many like you, was going to come in Josh Naylor's at bat, because Josh Naylor's atrocious defensive mistake early on in the game is what really caused the back to break of Corbin Burnes in his debut for the Diamondbacks. And things did not go well for Corbin Burnes. A lot of it was due to the defense behind him. But instead, Josh Naylor does not atone for his sins. He strikes out. And lo and behold, Gino steps up to the plate, literally, metaphorically, in my heart, wherever you want to say it, and delivers in the best possible way, hitting that grand slam to make the game a 7-4 game. Now, I wish Corbin Burnes' debut was an April Fool's Day prank. I think so many of us thought that the way things started this season, especially the decision to go with Zach Gallen, might not have been the best one. I am one of those people. And it wasn't just the Zach Gallen decision. Had Corbin Burnes started on game 2, I think this would have been a different feeling. However, starting him here in game 1 versus the Yankees looked very good, in the beginning. He came out strong. He came out hot against this team. And he had 4 strikeouts with no hits in his first 2 innings. He looked like everything we wished he could be. And then it's not spring training stats, but it is his outing here in front of you. It's 4 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 4 runs scored, 2 earned. He walked 3, struck out 8, and looked good. But things really unraveled for him there in the 4th inning. It wasn't just the mistake there made by Josh Naylor, but the mistake really that's what the 2 runs that put the Yankees ahead scored on that error by Josh Naylor, where he fielded a grounder and kind of airmailed it over to Corbin Burnes, covering at first. Did not go their way. The error caused, again, 2 runs to score and the Yankees to get that lead. We are going to miss Christian Walker a lot over there at first base this season. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but the things that Christian Walker did weren't quantifiable. They didn't add up in the stat sheet. They weren't something, despite the fact that his defensive rating was always higher than other first basemen. He was always considered one of the best defensive first basemen in baseball. Like, those ratings definitely told the tale of how good he was defensively. It's just the fact that the little things that Christian Walker did constantly, like make that play 10 times out of 10, those are the things that are going to make us miss him. That, and we're all going to miss the Walker, Walker, Walker song. And it's never coming back. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's completely out of my hands. But it is great to see so many of you guys here. Again, I know things aren't the same for this team. Sloppy defense is not the calling card of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Unfortunately, like I covered the other day, this is not the same team, right? We miss Christian Walker. We miss Tony Perez-Chico over there. It's no discredit to Sean Larkin as their new third base coach. It's just a learning curve. The offseason happened pretty quickly, and these guys don't have a chance to really get to know these coaches, and the coaches don't have a chance to get to know the players, in that short amount of time. So it's going to be a progression that happens throughout the season. It's just, we are seeing right now a reflection defensively of how important those guys were. Like, Dave McKay is still great over there at first. The Diamondbacks still have some solid coaches, and I like Sean Larkin very much. I think he is going to be a great third base coach over there, but it is a matter of learning for him, right? He's not a guy that came over from another team as a third base coach. But it sucks to see, right? It sucks to see this team losing games, or at least losing leads due to their defense, and having an outing like this for Corbin Burnes kind of spoiled there. You cannot take a look at an outing like this by Burnes, going 4 1/3 innings, allowing 4 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, or 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts, and think of it as a huge success, mostly due to the length. But give credit where credit is due. Jalen Beeks has been an amazing pickup for the Arizona Diamondbacks. This man barely had time to have his name stitched on the back of a jersey before opening day. And here he is coming out in a real big moment, right? A kind of a mop-up moment, maybe a moment where the Diamondbacks in the past would have put up a less reliable reliever there, and then that reliever allows the game to get a little bit more out of hand. Instead, Jalen Beeks comes in, gives him an inning and 2/3 of hitless baseball. He strikes out 1, doesn't walk anyone, hands it over to Shelby Miller, who goes an inning scoreless himself, hitless himself. Justin Martinez comes in, strikes out the side, and then AJ Puk comes in for the 9th inning. And it would appear for the time being, once again, like we discussed the other day, that AJ Puk is the Diamondbacks closer. Didn't have a flawless outing. He gave up a solo home run. But aside from that, 2 strikeouts, shut the door, and the Diamondbacks win the game. The Journey says Shelby Miller in 2025 is the best reliever of all time. It is nuts. And it's so incredible, because these are guys that we weren't even discussing as getting those final roster spots. And due to the injury to Jordan Montgomery and due to the way things panned out, the Diamondbacks end up needing this due to the Kevin Ginkel injury. And just they go out, they add Jalen Beeks because, as Mike Hazen said, there's not a great opportunity to add guys once the regular season had started. So they just made that decision to add Beeks a few days before opening day. And it turns out to be a great addition so far for this team. He has a 2.08 ERA, and he's really given them some length. And I still like Torrey's, story that he told us the other day about how he didn't even know like Beeks' name, but he came to him in that first outing and was like, can you give me another inning? And the man went out and did it. So the Diamondbacks bullpen looks solid, and no bullpen is safe from this Arizona Diamondbacks team. They seem to be able to hang in there tough. I mean, again, not a good showing today offensively. Honestly, they and again, having Rome here as our Yankees expert, yapping his little stupid mouth all night, right? I got to know lots about Will Warren, and Will Warren did not, he did not disappoint. He definitely kept the Yankees in check. And I mean, outside of the fact that when he was missing badly, the Diamondbacks really couldn't do much against him. Meanwhile, Corbin Burnes, his cutter is one of the most amazing pitches I've ever seen. It's going to be devastating, and it sucks that his debut is kind of, sketchy like this, not the greatest outing, but the Diamondbacks still walk away with a win, and I'm still very excited. I don't really put the length of this outing on him. Austin Wells had an amazing 13-pitch at bat that really just kind of killed his night. Like it resulted in a walk, so it was deflating on top of that, but it was a 13-pitch at bat that just drove up Corbin's pitch count and allowed him to only go out there for 4 1/3 innings. So hard to call that something, I doubt Corbin Burnes is happy with that. I doubt anybody in the organization is happy with that. But at the end of the day, you take the win and you move on. And that's what I try to preach, right? Like, this team is going to be an unconventional team. That's just going to be a wacky sitcom of a team all season long. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. They're going to lose a lot of games, and they're also going to win a lot of games. But I think that they're going to win games in different ways all the time like this, because that's how this team is kind of comprised. Luckily, it does feel like our bullpen is very, very solid. And going forward, my confidence is growing in that, right? So we know that the bullpen was kind of a bit more of a question, and we all thought that this starting rotation with Zach Gallen and Corbin Burnes as a part of it was going to be the biggest asset of this team. So far, both of those guys have a terrible debut to the 2025 season, but that I don't think that's who these guys are. And I think both of them are going to come out in their next outing and come out strong. Hopefully we see them bounce back and give them some length, because no matter how good this bullpen is right now, it's kind of getting taxed quite a bit with these short outings by starting pitchers. So that's really what they need. But they also need more Geno Suárez in their lives. We all need more Eugenio Suárez in our lives because he, even though it was just one hit, and once again, whenever he hits the ball, it's a home run, he is our king snake for tonight's game. 1 for 4 with that huge home run, 4 RBI. And you know what? I'll take it, man. I'll take it. It was an exciting win. It was a fun night. And, my confidence level isn't extraordinarily high right now in the starting pitching going forward. But I really think that these guys can bounce back, right? It's crazy, Kevin, because I know that you are kind of new to this team, but I think you completely agreed with me this offseason that we were once again, much like last offseason, which we made the mistake of, we're doing victory laps about how good our starting rotation was going to be.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you like what you're taking away from the early kind of struggles from the starting rotation so far. And then also I wanted to ask you, because there was a question in the chat about J-Mart. Our guy Steven Bananas wanted to know about how about J-Mart. So can you kind of speak to us about J-Mart as well as like what your takeaways are from the first 2 starts of Gallen and Burnes?
J-Mart looks incredible, and I think that tonight was another it's another night that shows that he really is ready for the big stage. Like he almost he excels in these situations. So I really think that J-Mart still is the closer of the future for this team. I don't think any decisions have actually been made by Torrey as far as AJ Puck is concerned. That's just what we're seeing his tendency go to, right? It's the reason why he waited so long to go to Puck this season for his first outing. And we saw him once again put him in that role, right? So for the time being, for all intents and purposes, Torrey's closer is AJ Puck. The fact that he doesn't name him his closer allows Torrey to use other pitchers and possibly go in other, in other directions. Maybe J-Mart, maybe Kevin Ginkel when he returns. There's options for Torrey, and he can do it based on matchups without having to name a closer. Once again, he frees himself of, I guess, what he considers, and I know this for a fact, him as a manager, this might be a valid criticism of his, is that he doesn't want to give guys jobs and then take the jobs away from them, right? He doesn't want to impact their confidence in that way and make them think that they did a bad job and lost their job, right? So if he is still indecisive and he might switch the direction he goes, it's kind of better for him to not to name a guy a closer because, yeah, he's already said he's going to give a lot of relievers there in the bullpen, a shot. But man, J-Mart's stuff tonight was just next level, man. This cat is something else. It didn't even take him much to do it, right? I mean, let's see here. I think if I'm correct, he threw 14 pitches and got 3 strikeouts. Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And he did it mostly there with a nice mix. He used his sinker, he used the four-seam fastball, splitter, slider. He used everything to get those strikeouts. And I didn't feel like there was anything that they could do against him tonight. It's nights like this that make me say over and over again that J-Mart is the closer of the future. I think every Diamondbacks fan, when they see him, think that and want that. It's just a matter of maturing, I guess, into that role as far as Torey Lovullo sees it, right? And I don't know. The one thing I've seen about J-Mart so fast is, once again, when the lights are brightest, and he's not always perfect, but when the lights are brightest, it seems like that man is absolutely dialed in and he's ready to go. And like who says here, locked in for $5 years, $18 million. So I love it. I love it, man. That man is something incredible. And I think he's going to be a huge part of the bullpen and probably that closer here in the future. But yeah, no, going back to what you were saying about the starting pitching, man, I mean, it's hard not to be concerned. You have to have good starting pitching, and you want to see the guys that you invest in, like Corbin Burnes, come out and absolutely shove. And honestly, we got 2 innings of that, and what we saw was enough for me to be like, okay, like things didn't necessarily go his way tonight, but this is against a very potent Yankees offense. So in all reality, aside from the length, the 2 runs are on the mistake on Josh Naylor. That shouldn't happen. That out should have been recorded. That inning should have been over. It wasn't, though. It didn't. The mistake happened. The Yankees score the runs, right? But the mistake's not on Corbin Burnes. He was there to cover the bag, and he did his job, right? So allowing only 2 earned runs in close to 5 innings of work against the Yankees that have absolutely been smashing the ball with their stupid torpedo bats, that's a good night. It's a good night. It's not the length you want, but 8 strikeouts and only 2 earned runs on Burnes is still a good outing. I mean, it's not the outing any of us wanted. I'm sure all of us wanted to see him go out there, go 7 innings and just strike out 15, batters, but it's what we got for now. And it's a work in progress defensively still for this team behind him. It's just hard as a pitcher sometimes to not have your mentality impacted by mistakes like that happening behind you, right? You're just, it lets the air out of your balloon, no matter how good you're pitching that night. So my concern level is not very high with Corbin Burnes. It's much higher with Zach Gallen, but it's also because I'm rooting for Zach Gallen in a very important year for him personally. And even if he doesn't end up with the Diamondbacks, I don't want to see this very important season for him be one of his worst. I want him to come out and help this team be one of the best teams in baseball, which is what I truly believe that he can be. But we have more to talk about, including we're going to dive into the numbers from this series. We also have a little Twitter rumor happening about Ketel Marte possibly being extended. All of that, and we're going to spy on our former friend Carson Kelly on a little thing he did the other day because it was amazing. And, we love our former players. So we'll be doing all that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, if you're interested in trying America's first ever USDA organic THC gummy, look to our friends at Cornbread Hemp. Their mission over at Cornbread Hemp is to improve your quality of life with the highest quality hemp. And that is why this product, proudly grown in Kentucky, is perfect for taking the edge off without making you feel anxious or paranoid like other cannabis edibles. You can take 10 milligram of THC per gummy just for the right dose. And of course, they have some nice sleep edition gummies as well as some mood improving gummies as well. And if you can make cornbread part of your daily or weekly routine, can help you have a little bit more of an alcohol-free happy hour, carefree moment, and maybe get some good sleep. So if you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy those carefree moments, you have to give Cornbread Hemp a try. They've created the first ever organic, USDA organic THC gummy that's 100% legal. As a special for PHNX listeners, you can get 30% off your first order. Just go to cornbreadhemp.com/PHNX and use that code of PHNX at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/PHNX and use code PHNX for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier happy hour. And again, thanks to Sanderson Ford for sponsoring our deep drive of the game. We are proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle sponsor, and they are thankful to have lived and prospered for the past 70 years in Glendale, Arizona, which is also where I live and prosper. They're thankful for their 500 employees who take care of their customers, making Sanderson Ford America's most awarded Ford dealership. Their 65-acre facility makes them the largest Ford dealership in the nation. You got to stop by the Starliner Diner because Damon still raves about the cheeseburger that he had there. He called it one of the best he's ever had in his whole life. And he said that with all conviction. So obviously support a great company that gives back to the community. They're family owned and operated through 3 generations, but more importantly, they'll get you a great deal on a Ford. They thrive on a no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense sales approach. So check out Sanderson Ford. And also check out all the wonderful things they do to give back to St. Mary's Food Bank, Southwest Autism Research, and more. So thank you to Sanderson Ford.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Kevin.
We got some questions in the chat.
What do we got?
What color are you dyeing your beard?
What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Is this because of the 15 and 11 thing again?
Maybe. I don't know where it came from.
No.
But I'm seeing a lot of questions about dyed facial hair in here from bees. They're asking about specific colors.
When I started this job, my beard was it was thick, it was black beard, it was good. Like when I look back at old pictures of myself, I don't even recognize me because of the years of age that this job has put on me. And a lot of that responsibility, quite frankly, falls on the shoulders of each and every one of you.
Is this a John Cena turn? What's happening?
I'm just saying, you want me to dye my beard purple now? It's already almost a shade of purple. I'm telling you, I'm feeling old. My voice sounds old, but that's not going to stop me from joining the boys over at the PHNX Cardinals draft party, by the way. You can join these fine gentlemen, Bo, Johnny, that rap scoundrel Damon over there at the Cardinals diehards, having a great time at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass in the Upper Deck Bar and Grill for an unforgettable NFL draft party. I know that we had an unforgettable fantasy draft one time, one that resulted in me going to the Waffle House, as you may or may not remember. But shut up. You're the reason why I went.
I am?
This live show is presented by Circle K and Gila River. Your tickets include entrance to the Upper Deck Bar and Grill and the Cardinals live show, all you can eat buffet dinner from 5 to 7 p.m., which is absolutely outstanding food, drink tickets for the 21 and over crowd, free drinks for the 21 and under crowd, raffle tickets for great giveaways. All PHNX diehards receive 20% off their total. And of course, it's just a great time. So come out, join us. We'd love to see you guys out there. And hopefully the Cardinals can get their next superstar in that draft. Let's take a look at some of the super chats. What do we got? Piece of Yoshi asked, did Shane enjoy the Torrens homer yesterday? You are lucky Shane is not in his office right now, because he would come in here and scream at you more than I did. Screamed at Damon yesterday about, his touching me and his big brothering me. Dominican268 says, in Gino we trust. Hell yes, we do. And Andrew Pulowski says Gino needs to be extended before Marte. That's an interesting point, especially where we stand at this point versus where a lot of Diamondbacks fans were in June of 2024 when they wanted Gino to be DFA'd off this team, right? And I'm not going to say he didn't deserve it. Gino would probably say he deserved it. He was very bad. But at this point, it's interesting because if I'm not mistaken, Gino's getting up there in age. And it's not that I, as an older man myself who was just talking about the gray in my beard, shouldn't have a little bit more empathy here. But I think he's only 33 years old. So never mind. I think of Gino as being an older guy than he actually is. But I don't know. How long would you extend a 33-year-old for, right? Maximum of 5 years. He is a free agent after this season. This is a walk year for him. The problem is that with the season he's already starting to have, are you going to want to, do you really want to settle for what the Diamondbacks? Do you really want to pay Gino for years? I don't know. You got Jordan Lawler waiting in the wings, and it doesn't feel like he's going to have an opportunity at shortstop with you extending Geraldo Perdomo. So if the Diamondbacks did go out there and extend Gino, which I don't hate, but if they did, there's a good chance that Jordan Lawler just gets further blocked, or maybe he becomes tradable at that point. I don't know. I think the team needs to keep down this path of getting younger and keeping these guys that they drafted as a part of the franchise and bringing them up. So
two more things from the chat, Derek.
What else
two more
we got?
things from the chat. One, we got Dalton Feely in the chat right now.
Feely in the chat.
Who confirmed that it was indeed
It was electric. Oh my God. And I know you were sitting with a bunch of Yankees fans, so I want to live in the moment that you lived in for that moment, because I know how great it was to scream into Rome's face. And man, there was a lot behind that. It was cathartic. It felt good.
Barely saying anything.
Shut up. They can't hear you, Rome. We didn't give you a microphone on purpose because you're a Yankees fan. What else do we got?
We had a discussion in the chat about Ketel getting a statue if there is indeed an extension.
Oh, man. I mean, does Ketel, if there is,
I would.
I mean, it's in this day and age, the idea of keeping a player for as long as the Diamondbacks could retain Ketel Marte and having him potentially retire here is amazing. It's just an incredible thought. It's almost unthinkable. I mean, Ketel would have been a free agent this offseason. He would have commanded a $200 million plus contract, and there's a good chance that his desire to stay with the Diamondbacks might benefit in some sort of hometown discount here with this extension. It's going to be interesting to talk about that. We will do that again after this next break. But before we do that, let's take a look at the numbers from tonight's game, because they're pretty enjoyable here. Diamondbacks, Yankees here, 5 hits apiece, 7-5 score. Yankees were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, which just doesn't even seem right. But then again, the runners that did score were due to the error. Diamondbacks were 3 for 11. Yankees had 4 extra base hits to the Diamondbacks 3, and the expected batting average there was 207 to the Yankees 225. So it's very interesting to see how this game ended up playing out. To be honest, I thought with the way that both of these teams have been hitting that the end score was going to be even higher than this. I smashed the over when I saw it was 8.5 runs in this game. I was like, 8.5, smash, smash, smash. We also smashed the over on Corbin Burnes strikeouts at 5.5. He ends up with 8, and the under on Will's strikeouts at 4.5. He got 4.
He had to look at me at that shot is vile work.
I know it's nasty business, but that's what happens when you come in here with your little Will Warren and your Yankees, right? Another interesting thing about this game was, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it would appear that during different parts of the game, the Yankees abandoned their torpedo bats. Right? Not all of them. And Volpe did hit a home run, and there was no way Volpe's hitting a home run without the aid of your cheater bat.
Besides that error, letting those 2 runs in, everything else is homers. So that was being hypocritical and saying that they didn't use the torpedo bats because that was all the runs they scored.
But they did, because I think early on, again, there is something. Josh Colmenter discussed it on the radio today. There's something about those torpedo bats that they do have a weakness, right? And good pitchers know how they can pitch around those bats, or essentially the sweet spot. The one thing that's interesting they brought up that I didn't realize is that they did say that each bat is custom made for the player. So it's not even like that the additional fat sweet spot that they're making lower down near the label is in the same place for every player. So they're cheating even more, but it's all still within the confines of the rules. So no, I mean, I went on record saying these bats aren't cheating, right? Because they're not. There are rules with a bat. A bat can only be a certain length, but it can be shorter than that. And it can be any length you want it to be. You can be up there with a little tiny bat, just trying to get a little dink, right? You can have bats made. I said dink. That's not against. That's let's calm down. They can be
chuckled.
No. Well, you can be made of ash, right? Wood, maple wood. It can be made of different things, right? The bats can be made of a lot of different materials. I don't fault the Yankees for trying to do something to remedy maybe a hitter's weakness by having the bat adapt within the confines of the rules to that hitter, and that's what they're doing.
Cheating,
right, but it's a stupid, dumb idea, and they abandoned it in this game because Corbin Burnes was flaming them in the first 2 innings. So again, good game plan for the Diamondbacks tonight. For the most part, I thought that things outside of the defensive errors, and it wasn't just the Josh Naylor. The Diamondbacks just have not been sharp defensively, and you see it constantly. It extends innings, it extends starters' pitch counts, and it's really been impacting this team early on. I think we all have really gotten used to the last 2-3 years, this team playing incredibly consistent defense, and they just aren't doing that right now. And they're still finding a way to win baseball games, right? So that's the fun part about this team. When you're winning baseball games and there's still a significant amount of room for improvement, both on your starting pitchers and your defense, then, this team can be even better than what we're seeing. Those two coincide with each other, though, man. I mean, that bad defense, you might be a professional. You might be able to flush it in the moment and move on, but it's hard. It's hard when you were a grounder away from the inning ending, and instead the innings extended, 2 more runs have scored, and you're not making it out of the 5th inning. So and Bees, always being the voice of reason, says that will come around eventually, Derek, and I believe it too. I think that, again, there's going to be some changes made. There's going to be I think coaches getting to know the players a little bit more, getting to know their tendencies, and, maybe some improvements here. Also, I think there's a lot of pressure on guys like Geraldo Perdomo, who got this contract extension. There's a lot of pressure on these guys to perform, considering that the expectations are so high. They try to block out that noise, but it seeps in, right? I was told by a player who I'm not going to name, but basically that like his brother will text him stuff, right? Like you're not just getting it from the media, you're getting it from friends and members of the family that are also like sending you stuff like, hey, look, The Athletic has you guys ranked as the top 3 teams in baseball. Like, that's hard to not get out of your head and have it, at least set certain expectations, right? Expectations that at one time Torey Lovello tried to turn into a different word and call it standard, right? After you make it to the World Series, we want to set a standard. Set it, you call it whatever you want. You can frame it, you can make up a brand new word for it. It's still expectations, right? So I get what Torey's trying to do. He wants these players to set a standard that every year those expectations are going to be there. It's not just this year, that year. It's not just because they got Corbin Burnes. Those expectations should be there for this franchise every single season. And if the players, especially guys that are going to be here for the foreseeable future for a very long time, like Corbin Carroll, hopefully Ketel Marte, who we're going to talk about on the other side of this break, get those extensions, stick around with this team. They will help set that standard year in and year out that Torey Lovullo wants to set, right? And I mean, I've even heard him say he wants to set that standard in a way where when he's long gone, which will make so many of you happy, that standard is still there, and it was set by him during his time as a manager of this franchise. So we just need to see them get back to that level of excellence defensively that we're used to. And again, so far, Gino's really bailed them out with his big bat, but even Gino could improve and get some more hits and not just make it all dingers, right? I mean, Barry Bonds, he is coming for you, by the way, so don't think that that's not happening. But it's early, so we'll temper that talk until like July or August, then we'll get it going crazy.
Well, Derek, wait, real quick on that topic of home run records. Steven Bananas wants to know, Gino hits 50 homers. Will you dye your beard teal?
Yes, fine. There you go. If Gino hits 50 home runs, I will dye my hair purple. No, not my hair, my beard. I'm never dyeing my hair purple again. Guys, if I do that again, the rest is going to fall out. So I do appreciate you, Steven. Steven, it's Mr. Bananas, right? We were still going with Mr. Bananas.
I think
Steven.
so. Okay. Until he tells us otherwise.
Yeah, until you say otherwise, we'll call you that. Thank you so much for your super chat. Piece of Yoshi, bless you for your super chat. He says something to note with the bats. Stanton got hurt swinging an unconventional bat this spring. Not sure if it was the same bat, but it could be. Is that and Rome's over here nodding and saying that seems fairly likely. So again, there is something to be said about those torpedo bats and just the momentum shift that they cause. Like a bat is shaped a certain way for a certain reason, right? Like it's like you think this is the first time that someone's come around and tried to use some sort of fungo bat or something crazy, right? Like, but yeah, no, everybody wants me to notarize. Yes, I will get a contract going for the beard thing. I don't know. I won't have to like bleach it as much, I don't think, but we'll figure it out. And I can't risk losing the rest of my hair. Again, there's just not much of it left. I will be looking fresh for the playoffs, and it's going to be awkward in the I
didn't even think about that.
In the clubhouse, walking around the clubhouse with a purple beard,
asking like some serious questions after a game, like, "Hey, Corbin, how'd you feel taking that pitch? It was right there, bad call. You reacted poorly. Meanwhile, you just got a teal beard and a Roosevelt shirt, and you're out there looking like." I bought
some new Roosevelt shirts that'll match a purple beard, so hey, that'll work out as well. I also remember when we had this conversation, by the way, with Lourdes Gurriel in the clubhouse, and he said he liked the color of my hair, but could use, and he said it in Spanish, more volume. I would love to have more volume. The days of my hair having volume are far behind me, Lourdes. So again,
that's insane.
It was crazy business.
That's the for you right there.
Between him and Ryan Thompson tickling me in the press box or in the clubhouse when I'm trying to I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying over here to do my job. It's crazy work what these guys put me through. But what we are going to talk about is hopefully Ketel Marte putting me through a lot more of his craziness by signing a new contract extension with the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, if you are an Arizona sports fan, there is no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. And I speak from experience. Desert Financial got me started on my home ownership journey. Hopefully they can get you started as well. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams, including the Cardinals, ASU, and NAU. So again, for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences for their customers and giving back to the community. Big thing here is sometimes with financial institutions, it's all about trust, right? And if you can't trust that financial institution that has your best interest in mind, it's nothing but a glorified salesperson. And you will get a trusted experience that helps you get to your financial dreams over at Desert Financial. When you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 right now. And I've been throwing all sorts of shade at Rome. I mean, he could definitely use a motorized awning right now to protect him from all of the Yankees hate, right? But he doesn't. Probably, you're a Gen Z. There's no way you have a house. But you can extend your outdoor living space with custom fit awning. There's hundreds of designs and colors to choose from that will match any home. Motorized awnings with a remote control, LED lights, all sorts of cool stuff. Hundreds of colors to choose from, hundreds of designs to choose from. They also make roll down patio shades that block the sun and keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler during these hot summers. It's nice out now, but I'll tell you this much, it's not going to be nice for long. So you for sure need to get yourself situated for the summer and get yourself some motorized awnings by our friends at All Pro Shade Concepts. They can also replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings. And they were voted the most trusted local shade company, voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024. So check them out. Call 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. Ryan says super chats for Derek's hair plug treat. I'm down. Send me to Istanbul. Let's get this
Turkey?
done.
Yeah.
Let's go to Turkey. Yeah. I'm down.
Get the LeBron treatment.
I mean, if I have the money that Ketel Marte might potentially have, you bet I'm getting that hair fixed, right? But speaking of which, is this a rumor? Is it a fact? Kevin, what do you got for me?
Breaking news. According to my sources from Mike Rodriguez, Dominican second baseman Ketel Marte and his Arizona Diamondbacks are working on a contract extension worth over 100 million M's.
Let's go! Pay it! Do it! It's worth it. I don't care the length of the contract. If you can bring Ketel Marte back for more years, the contract Marte already signed was one of the best deals in Major League Baseball over the last 5 years. And that's the God honest truth about it. And I mean, I'm telling you, Ketel Marte, he signed a 5-year, $76 million extension with the Diamondbacks in 2022. And that set him up to be basically with the club. And now we have an opportunity to maybe have Ketel retire as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I know we kind of got down that path earlier, but the idea of having a guy that we keep, that is our guy like this, that, you know, came to the team not even as the biggest chip in the trade, yet ends up being a multi-time All-Star potentially, and an MVP candidate, and a guy that was making history in the postseason. I'm telling you, man, I mean, you got to pull the trigger on that and do that. Ketel Marte probably has a good idea that he is maybe even worth more money than that. And I mean, he, again, would have been a free agent this past offseason. Could you imagine having to deal with the loss of both Christian Walker and Ketel Marte over there on the right side of the infield after, you know, the success this team has had? It would have been devastating. And I mean, it's not to say the Diamondbacks couldn't have found people to fill those roles. But as we've seen with Josh Naylor, it's not often that you have somebody that's as great at first base defensively as Christian Walker was. Ketel Marte might not be the greatest second baseman, but what that man brings to this team is incredible, right? And I mean, again, it's the idea here that you could once again display to your players that if you perform and you bring, you know, you're successful for this team, they will reward you and they want to keep you part of this organization. We've always used the Braves as the blueprint for what we wanted to achieve here. However, I'm starting to think with what's going on in Atlanta, maybe that isn't the blueprint you want to achieve. That's the downside to this whole situation, right? Is the fact that I'm sure every team would like to lock in their great players. There is great risk to that, though. And sometimes when you do lock guys into long-term deals, we've seen it time and time again, they kind of fall off, right? That's not to say they still don't, you know, perform at a major league level. It's not like they don't go out there and hit like 190, but they're not the same player they were when they were hungry and trying to earn that big contract. So I think the Diamondbacks are doing it right by signing guys that are young, keeping them out of their arbitration years like they're doing with Perdomo, and avoiding some of that nastiness, and also showing the commitment that they have to them as the future of this team. Not just the future, the now of this team. But Ketel is the unsung hero, right? He doesn't lead in any way other by example, but he is just a tremendous player that is, probably worthy, especially if the Diamondbacks find a way to keep him around for an additional 5 more years or something of that. He's worthy of being up there on that Mount Rushmore of Arizona Diamondbacks greats for sure. But man, I mean, yeah, just think about what he did in the playoffs. This man set a record for the longest hitting streak in baseball history in the postseason. That's crazy to think about, considering how baseball's been around for 700 years and it has so much history to it that how, for him to make that history was pretty good. So
700 years, one Ketel Marte.
That's it. It's one guy. I also just have to say that, like, from a personal perspective, someone asked today, actually there was a confusion. He was talking to Eric, but then we were sitting next to, it's Eric Derek situation. He really needs to pronounce better, but he was asking who our favorite players are. And of course I thought of the obvious choices, right? Randy Johnson comes to mind because I love Randy. Not only was he my favorite player playing, but Randy Johnson also, now at this point, the fact that I have had chances to interact with him and talk with him, he's one of my favorite people. He's always a delight to chat with. It's just weird for, Randy Johnson being the curmudgeon that he was. He's just in such a good mood all the time in this phase of his life, and it's great to see, right? But truly, when I think about guys that I love to see play the game, when I talk about my favorite players, there is nobody that I love to watch play this game more than Ketel Marte. He is an incredible athlete, but he plays it with such joy. He plays it with just this youthful energy that really is reminiscent of kids playing on a little league field. And I think that's what I love about him the most. I mean, I know some people want to see players literally strangling each other on the base path, but the fact that he is so friendly with the other players and always jokes around with them, but also tries to hide the ball in his glove and tap it on them and get them to, make a mistake and step off the bag and pull one of those little league moves, will never cease to delight me when it comes to Ketel. So I'm excited for the prospect of him sticking around and extending him. And I say, extend everyone. Go extend Pavin right now. Extend. You get an extension. Kevin, you get an extension.
Yay!
Rome, you don't get anything. Get the hell out of here, Rome. No. Rome gets nothing. Rome. No.
He's an intern.
Not.
He's an intern. There's no contract to even extend in the first place.
Yeah, right.
I'm out of here in early May.
Look, all I'm saying is, even when Ketel has a down period of time, I just wait for him to snap out of it, and he typically does, right? So make this man a Diamondback for life. That's what I say. So let's do that.
Here.
On the other side of this break, we have some spying on our exes to do. We're happy we won, but we're never not petty. So we're going to spy on our exes and give Carson Kelly his due for what he did for the Cubs, making history himself. We're doing that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, if you really think you're getting an extension in the chat, you might have already enjoyed some Pure Edibles, but if you haven't had a chance to, make sure to check them out. Pure Edibles was founded right here in Arizona. They are available in over 130 dispensaries statewide, and they are not covered in sugar like all other gummies. They are a full-fledged candy company offering Starburst-like treats called Kicks. They got their soft candy chews that are like caramels, hard candies, and gummies, and all of those wonderful candies have the effects clearly listed on each tin, so that you know what effects to expect. Pure gummies offer sleep support as well as candies with uplifting effects derived with unique cannabinoids. So make sure to check out everything that they have to offer. They were created right here in Flagstaff, Arizona, and now are made in Phoenix. And they are designed once again to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in that exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles. Their products are available at one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And while you're out there, you might need some other food to eat. You might get the munchies, so make sure to stop by Circle K. Circle K is a great place to go, not only to quench your thirst, it is America's thirst stop, but their Inner Circle program will save you so much money on gas. Coming up here on April 10th and April 24th is another round of Inner Circle Fuel Days. You sign up for the Inner Circle program for free by downloading the Circle K app today. You will save 40 cents off per gallon from 6 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. on those days. And then they also have their big giveaway going on right now, the Circle K Big Giveaway. That will be drawn on May 6th. Customers can enter to win prizes, cash, and more. So visit circlek.com/big giveaway. But more importantly, join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. When you sign up, you'll save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You'll save 3 cents off per gallon every day after that. And most importantly, you'll get those first 5 Polar Pops for absolutely free. So save those for, I would say, a rainy day, but probably more of a sunny day, and enjoy yourself over there at Circle K. Well, like I said, we're no matter how far you go, no matter how much you leave us, we will always keep track of you. So let's do a little spying on our exes. Kevin, can we do that? That picture never ceases to creep me out, and I love it. Cubs won themselves quite a game. I think they had a little pent-up anger after losing the finale to the Diamondbacks, and they went out and mollywopped the Athletics by a score of 18-3, and a big part of that was former Arizona Diamondback catcher Carson Kelly, who I still absolutely adore to this day. He hit for the cycle at that godforsaken ballpark out there in Sacramento. And let me tell you this right now, he's not going to be the only player that hits for the cycle. There's going to be lots of players that hit for the cycle out there. I don't know what's going on with the Athletics and their offense, but the Cubs had no problem scoring. Kelly was 4 for 4 with 5 RBI, the home run, obviously, the single, the double, the triple. That's how cycles work. And he also had 2 walks. He became the first Cub. Kevin, check this out. The first Chicago Cub to hit for the cycle in almost 32 years. And the last one that did it, another former Arizona Diamondback, Mark Grace. He did it on May 9th, 1993. And Carson Kelly also becomes the first player to hit for the cycle in the 2025 season. He's also, for what it's worth, also the first player to ever hit for the cycle in the month of March. So making a lot of history over there. And let me tell you, I had to look at the schedule, Kevin, because I needed to know if the Diamondbacks were, in fact, slated to play a game at said godforsaken field. And buddy, are they. Not only are they slated to play, but those games are going to be played in early August, when it's currently scheduled to be 100 degrees in the city of Sacramento. My guy, Barry Bloom, he wrote a piece on the home opener, and it was miserable because of how cold it was. Fans out there were freezing their asses off, sitting on spring training style berms and stuff. And like, oh man, I still can't believe what a huge embarrassment this is for Major League Baseball. And honestly, I hate to kind of bring this back to the Diamondbacks time and time again, but it's just something to remember in the fact that this state bill, this House bill that they're trying to get approved that will allow the taxes generated by Chase Field to go to the improvements of Chase Field. That's really, getting some pushback in the government. And honestly, I understand because of where the funds typically go. This bill still makes all the sense in the world. There is one part of this bill that I'm just going to say kind of stands out to me as the catch. And that is the fact that the income generated from employees that work at Chase Field also are subject to this House bill, which would allow the taxes from those employees to go to this fund to improve Chase Field. And I'm not talking about the hot dog vendors or the 50-50 guys or the kind, nice ladies in the elevator that take care of me. I am talking about the players that make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm talking about Corbin Burnes' $200+ million contract. I'm talking about all of it. The taxes generated by the income from the players, I think, is the biggest catch here. I think it's the biggest loss of this whole situation. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like, taxes generated, yes, by concession stands and by merch stands and stuff is going to be a lot of money. But I mean, I just can't imagine it being the same amount of money that's generated by the income tax on the players that would be allowed to go back into this fund. So I don't know, though. I will say this at the end of the day. We as fans, the Diamondbacks as an organization, we don't ever want to end up here. We don't ever want to end up playing in a minor league facility for 3 seasons until a new ballpark is done. We don't want this to become a contentious battle. We don't want this team, another one of our beloved teams, to leave the Valley. And honestly, I don't even think moving away from Chase Field is a very good idea, to be fair. So again, it's just a matter of the situation is what it is. And that situation is Maricopa County still owns that building, that big old airplane hangar. And, in order for this to get done, I still think this is the most logical solution, despite the fact that the income tax generated by the players is still kind of, the catch. Zach Sent wants to play in mullet. I'm not against that. I was actually very much in favor of watching hockey games there. I was like, oh, people are going to love this. Boy, was I wrong about that. So I don't know. J.A. says, can you imagine playing at Salt River in late July or August? No, I can't. That sounds awful. I've gone to Phoenix Rising games at 8 p.m. In the middle of summer, and those were miserable, right? So I couldn't imagine a baseball game. I just couldn't.
Was it on Dollar Beer Night?
Of course it was on Dollar Beer Night.
And you were still miserable?
Well, I was drunk and miserable, and both of those things, you can be both of those things at the same time.
That's actually worse than being miserable. That's way worse than being miserable.
Right, well, because it's the drinking of the dollar beers was to combat the heat. So
Then being drunk makes you warmer.
Angry. Surly?
Yeah. Okay, sure. I was gonna say warmer.
Warmer. Okay, yeah.
We can go with more revealing answers for sure.
It doesn't really quench my thirst. It was just smashing one Bud Light after the next. Basically, it's what it was.
Derek. I think we hurt Leah's feelings bringing up the Coyotes again.
No, I'm sorry, Leah.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were here. If you were here, I wouldn't have even talked about them. Do we got any more super chats, or we got all those cleared up? I want to make sure
I think we got all those cleared
miss
up,
anybody.
Derek.
You guys are the best. We thank you guys so much for your super chats. More importantly, thank you guys for being here. Look, I know there's lots of Diamondbacks podcasts out there for you to choose from. So I appreciate you guys being here with me. And I promise you, I do have some surprises and some special guests joining us all year long, including our man Dalton Feely, which was great to see him in the chat. More importantly, it's great to see all of you guys here in the chat. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Appreciate you for believing in this Diamondbacks team, no matter how much you actually believe in them or not. But it's going to be a fun year. We have a lot of screaming to do about this team and a lot more Geno home runs if you want this beard dyed purple. So hope he can keep on track for that. Actually, maybe I don't. Maybe you hope. Maybe I don't. But we'll see. We can't always agree on everything. What we can agree on, though, is we all love the Arizona Diamondbacks. So thank you again for being here. You can follow us on social. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. My guy Kev is at Kevo Posts. Rome, do you want to give your Twitter handle?
Yeah, I'm more on Instagram. But
yeah,
Rome Jacob 1.
I'm not giving him anything. He's not getting anything at all.
You
because
laid it up for me.
I did. Yeah, no, I know. That's why I did that. But our show is at PHNX_DBacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Oh, man, it was a great win. We got 2 more games here against the Yankees. So we will be back tomorrow with another post-game show, and Thursday. Friday, we have a 2 p.m. show because after that, I'm going to be high at a reggae festival for 3 straight days. So,
man.
Yeah, man. Until then, we see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys all really have a wonderful night. Hope you enjoy this win. Thank you, Bees, for being here. Thank you, guys. The rest. Doug says, where's Archie? I don't even have an answer for that. Archie Bradley is, every time I see his Instagram, he's in a different place on some new adventure. So unfortunately, sometimes life takes people in a different direction, and Archie Bradley is living his life to the fullest right now. So he'll be back, though. I promise you. I'm going to wrangle him up and bring him in here. Until then, we appreciate you guys so much. Benjamin wants to know we got the game tonight. It was a fun one, Benjamin. It was a fun one. Well, appreciate all of you. Thank you again. Want you guys to enjoy your evening, behave yourselves, and remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when an intern is here that roots for the opposing team that I can scream in their face after Gino hits another bomb.
We all silly like the mayor.